Introducing the talk of the literary world, Jeffery A. Miller, with his book, Throw Me Under the Bus, Please.
Hi, I'm speaking to you in this ridiculous sombrero to tell you about an hysterical new book called Throw Me Under the Bus, Please by Jeffery Miller, which is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and VirtualBookworm.com in both softcover and ebook. Part memoir, part travelogue, and part commentary, it's an irreverent, sardonic look at a week spent with my 3 generations of my beloved family trapped in a guided tour bus traveling through the ancient ruins of Mexico. To give you a little taste of this book, let me read just a preface for you so I won't give away any of the plot and you'll get an idea of what the book is like. Maybe I listen to too much national public radio. No, I'm not an elbow patch wearing, Pete Seeger worshipping, hotel towel reusing liberal college philosophy professor, nor do I sip Pinot Noir and nibble artisanal camembert while listening to Bach sonatas on a vinyl record. Simply put, I just loathe commercials. Furthermore, I'm not musically inclined, so I generally avoid typical hip-hop, classical, urban, country, or even rock radio. Finally, I can only listen to so many commercial broadcast news traffic reports in an afternoon, detailing delays on the Long Island Expressway, oblivious to my unencumbered 8-mile local commute on the side streets of northern New Jersey. I guess my self-described lack of musical inclination is a bit like referring to Vladimir Dracula as devoid of proper table manners. I took piano lessons for 5 years as a child and never graduated from the mandatory beginner's keyboard Bible, Thompson's Red Book. Remember the Wigwam Song or Song of the Vulgar Boatmen? I do, as I played them improperly for half a decade. Ted, my first piano teacher, a young man with grand, unanswered aspirations of becoming a concert pianist, eventually committed suicide. True story. However, I blame this tragedy on my brother, Neil, for as an atrocious a musician as I proved to be, Neil, in opposition, made me appear as the reincarnation of Sergei Rachmaninoff. Regardless, I'm often astonished by the myriad of TV and radio interviews with authors touting their personal memoirs. It seems like everyone whose past includes a notable feature or performance, from the Norwegian zoologist depicting the trials of potty training his pet orangutan, to the blind grandmother who scaled Mount Everest, confined to a wheelchair, without bottled oxygen of course, feels compelled to share his or her experience with the rest of the family. That's my son laughing. The significance of these accomplishments is dubious at best. Nonetheless, there are millions of readers who seem enthralled by the first-person depictions of such escapades. I like to write. I think maybe I could prepare my own memoir. Unfortunately, although I've led a successful, in most cases enviable life, I could find little so exceptional of interest to anyone other than myself. Not a very lucrative way to prepare a bestseller. My wife wouldn't buy a copy, even with my money. A dog might be loyal enough to purchase such a memoir, but it would not be worth the payback of constant walks and separating table scraps. What a mundane life. I was never an altar boy at a Boston Catholic church. I was not abused by my parents, unless one has ever had the misfortune to listen to my mother sit at the piano and recite the lyrics to such favorites as Shoe Fly Don't Bother Me and Go Tell Aunt Rhody, or the entire score of Fiddler on the Roof, in a key hereto only associated with a rusty chainsaw or wayward sanitation truck. I have a wonderful devoted wife and 2 well-behaved, healthy young sons. No philandering with lesbian rock stars, familial myrtle plots, or God forbid, rare childhood brain tumors in our family. I have never been kidnapped or circumnavigated the globe on a car tire. I'm a physician, but alas, a radiologist. I save lives by sitting in a climate-controlled office, sipping a cup of reheated coffee, and detecting small precancerous spots on chest x-rays and CAT scans. No chance of me removing a bullet fragment from a wounded president's left ventricle, or parachuting into a Somalian war zone to save a captive village from ringworm infestation. My memoir, therefore, is composed in juxtaposition to the above death-defying situations and anomalous characters. I'm just a guy who is thrust into a perfectly ordinary situation, but one that invokes a greater dread than any unguarded stockpile of weapons of mass destruction or box of dozen trans-fat-laden jelly donuts. I am the everyman, bearing my soul to report on the seemingly ordinary tribulations I faced on a trip to a foreign land. Okay, it was only Mexico. With 3 generations of the 5 most important people in my life. This act appears on the surface to be mundane, which is the point. But for anyone who has ever attempted a similar feat of oppressive physical and emotional stress, such a journey is rife with situations, both pleasant and painful, to which we can all relate. Now, rather than having to experience such turmoil yourself, you will have the chance to live vicariously through another man's anxieties and snicker at his hapless misfortunes. And remember, Throw Me Under the Bus, Please by Jeffrey Miller, available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and VirtualBookworm.com in both softcover and ebook.
And remember, Throw Me Under the Bus, Please is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, and VirtualBookworm.com in both softcover and ebook. Remember, Throw Me Under the Bus, Please by Jeffery A. Miller.